Chapter 24. Is better if you think it through before pulling that sword. He spun his head, face showing surprised expression. How could he not? He did not detect anyone near him. As matter of fact, at this time no one is here anymore. You surprised me. He said to the person that smiled to him through the night. This is the first time we meet outside a dream, isn't it? Merlin. Well, you can say so, my cute little Arthur. The greatest sorceress of Britain spoke with hint of cheer in her voice, it as if just by conversing with him she given amusement. I'm not little anymore. He rebuked with disapproving voice. As matter of fact, I'm taller than you now. That's true. Merlin giggled. Why, I remember when we first meet, you are such cute little boy that want to marry this pretty lady. He keep his face stoic and neutral despite he just reminded about his embarrassing past and reply her calmly, I was a boy at that time, hardly understand anything. And you do now? She inquired, her voice still ease but there hint of something in there, and he caught it. Green eyes narrowed in calculating manner. What do you want, Merlin? He asked back. Nothing. Merlin answered, I come here just to tell you something. Listen, Arthur, not to say anything bad about it, but it is better if you stop. Stop. You know what I mean. Merlin's gaze for a moment wandered to the sword in stone, the sword of selection. After pulling that sword, you will stop being human. She said, not only that, you will be hated by all kind of humans and you will reach a horrendous death. She declared, her eyes then returned to him, her gaze were firm, strong and yet. There also something that indecipherable beneath them. If you decide to stand back now, you will live a good life, peaceful and happy, and your death also won't be painful. The son of Uther Pendragon looked to the great sorceress in eyes directly, his handsome face showed nothing but calmness and strong expression, like a mountain that stand before waterfall. Then his gaze shifted back to the object they discussed, the sword that will decide the future of this country, and without hesitation he grasped the pommel of the sword. People were smiling when they thought their ideal king will come soon. He said aloud, his finger firmly etched to the sword, and he noted how it seems so feels right somehow. People were happy, they showed joyful expression. His grip tightened, his green eyes seems glowing for a second. Certainly this path. Then with his strength, he pull up the sword, is not the wrong one. And Caliban, the sword of victorious, the sword of selection, drawn out from the stone, and thus the legend of King Arthur began. The being of destruction, no. The demon in form of dragon that has stood over the previous king of Britain roared in pure rage. It voice drowned the entire raging battlefield, swallowing the world wholly with it mighty and monstrous howl that shake the very earth itself. Beastly eyes peered down at their prey, maw wide open and reveal serrated fangs. That sharp like a blade and flame practically rolled out from it nostril and tongue. It only neck was enough to engulf the whole castle, corpses by its sheer size, and it awakening enough to wreckage the citadels like a earthquake. This is not a mere dragon or beast, no. What that's standing in front of him? It massive claw smashed to earth, turning the pavement into a rubble and dirt. It gigantic head stared down at him, it reptilian jaw curled to mockery of sneer. It body was so massive to the point he can't see the end of it, a gargantuan scale who would make all castle in this island pale. What stand in front of him is the Britain itself. The land itself that manifested, given form and become alive. The sun was bright moment ago, but it no longer exists. It turned to raging dark cloud that let out thunder not unlike wrath of gods. Those dark and raging weather summoned just by mere presence of this beast, of this dragon that has evaporated a whole soldiers that launched at it. The destruction it brought just by it one roar was enough to make the very kingdom of heaven shake. It just logical and makes sense to fear this being, this powerful creature. Fools is the one who not afraid to this entity, for this monster is creature that represent power, a being that has become independent from world. A single breath of it can devastate country and bring down entire nation. Just by existing this monster made the holy sword Excalibur Gallatin lost her powerful light, a light that shone with the power of sun itself. And Excalibur, the sword of promised victory that forged from the lights of every wish of mankind, and by the planet herself reduced to a mere bonfire. Even king of heroes, the oldest hero of mankind, would left speechless for a second after seeing this beast. Several hours already they battle this creature, but the result is only a naught, a loss of lives from their side, while the monster barely injured from their strikes. Their side was losing. Even a blind person can tell that from hearing how the soldiers and knights cried in pain before death embraced them. No matter how many they send, it was for naught. It's like sending sheep to slaughterhouse to be butchered. His trusted soldier, his most loyal friends, people who he treat as brother in all but blood, told him to retreat. The battle was lost. This is beyond their expectation. That Vortigern has become Britain itself. King Arthur, the body of the enemy is Britain itself. His knight shouted at him, despite its firmness, but their hint of fear exists in there. Despite having the holy sword, we cannot win. We must retreat now. Oh, he knew it very well just how bad the situation is. He knew that his men dying. Soldiers and knights butchered like an insects facing adult men, the brave one flee and shaking just by this beast's presence. The land around them itself was on this creature very side. This creature can't be defeated. And even he can feel fear just by standing in front of the demon dragon that dwarfing over them, and yet. I will require your assistance a little more, Sir Gawain. King. He heard gasp from his knight, shocked and surprised at his bravery despite what this creature just did to their bravest men. He's still able to stand and not even show sign of fear in his face. He afraid to this creature, just like his men. But that fear hold no candle to his resolve, to his will. To the oath that he has swore of when he pull Caliban from the stone and become king for his very home, for his land, you and I here. He said aloud, his emerald eyes meet his sapphire blue. What are wielders of holy swords if they cannot quite 1 or 2 fits of the island? That was correct. What are wielders of holy swords if they cannot quite 1 or 2 fits of the island? He have no right to call himself king of knights if he retreated just because of such reason. The Knight of the Sun shocked expression shifted to one of wonder, amazement, awe, then his blue eyes gained new light and he slowly stood. Determination and fire filled his heart once more. Yes. Arthur Pendragon give him smile that contained gratitude and proudness, then he turned to the monster and stare at his very eyes beside. He is the King of Britain. If the Britain themselves has rose and take a form and try to oppose him, then he will remind the island why he is their king in first place. Many people thought that with the fall of Vortigern Britain will return to be prosper kingdom, to be heralded like their old time, to live with full of prosperity and satisfaction. It wasn't that simple. Vortigern is indeed tyrant that caused Britain to be in chaos, to be in their sad state, to make people who dwell in them to suffer, but slaying him won't return everything back in instant. The future of Britain still remained dim. The daily life of the population was not changing. The ancient capital might be under reconstruction now, but the fact that almost nothing changed, causing the flourishment of evil on the people's heart. Wasn't King Arthur the king that would shine? The one that said if we follow his words would lead us to prosperous country? Wasn't he promise us land that would shine like legendary Avalon? Doubt and dark thoughts started to lingering inside people's heart. For a years they suffer under Vortigern twisted and iron rule. They were dying under his lead. Was the same thing would happen to them now? Could it be they finally free from one tyrant only to get another? Protest and complaint rose from people. Fear of continuous suffering and anger of being lied become their motivation. But even so, in face of such anger, Arthur Pendragon remained calm. Since always this island has been poor. She commented as she fiddling the edge of her hair. So Arthur, what do you think about those people? She asked. Well, the fact that I would be reprimanded was inevitable. He mused aloud. His blue fur elegant coat waved from touch of wind as he stared at his garden. Because of this year plans, we were forced to buy farm products from other countries. He shake his head with slight exasperation. I'm going to be in need of Sir Lancelot help another time. Everybody though that when Vortigern the usurper was defeated we would gain peace. She said flippantly, they should know better that the result will be different. She let out breath that almost seems like mournful. Humans, they always like that. They like the truth even though they hate things that too truthful. He did not make any comment and simply stare at his advisor, his head that tilted slightly seems gesture for her to continue. As long as you, King Arthur, remains as the ideal king for those people, they will depend on you but also degrade you at the same time. She continued, people don't want to be blamed but they also don't want to work, and so they have no choice but to put all of them on you. She said with exasperated voice, you will have to ignore or even crush what they say in order to rule. Ignore them is something that not easy. He replied, they are my people after all. Granted, right now that what is the only thing I can do given our situation. The battle against Vortigern take too much, many soldier has died in that fight. It can be said the victory itself is a miracle in a way. Crushing them is out of option. People don't need another tyrant to lead them. But you will need to do that to show them your strength. She pointed, you can't appear to be weak, especially at time like this. She then shook her head, all of what you receive are injustices and twist. However, the more of it, the more the daily life of the population of stabilizes. Arthur eyebrow furrowed, his eyes scrunched in analytical manner as he comprehend what his advisor just said, so the more I suffer, the more the country will prosper. Is that what you say? She narrowed her eyes at him, she stopped to fiddling with her hair, her hand brushed her staff slightly, in a way, yes. She said, but you knew about this, didn't you? You knew about this when you pulled the sword of selection from that stone. Of course he knew. He knew what would happen the moment he draw that sword, knew this will come after he rose to throne. This kingdom by any mean not in good condition after all, and it cannot be fixed in instant, it will need time. And in that time people will hate him. But by doing that they also going to become more stable. Yes. He answered the rhetorical question of the sorceress, and for that I have the pride to say we are doing well. He then turned around, his eyes wandering to the green that spread as far as he can see, and he smiled, "Watch me, Merlin." He said aloud while spreading his arms widely to the sky, "I won't say that it will be now, but I can say with certainty that this country will become a great one, not one to lose against the legendary Avalon, that I'm sure." The king back was completely facing the sorceress, proud, firm and straight, a befitting posture for someone like his stature, but because of that he missed the bitter and sad smile that marred the sorceress' beautiful face. "I will, little Arthur." She murmured, "I will watch you until the end, and perhaps even beyond that." She whispered in melancholic voice. The first thing that crossed to his mind when he feel his conscience returning is warmth, following that is whatever he lay or rested into now is very damn comfortable. Seriously, he feels like sleeping in cloud and he really wish he can lose his consciousness again so he can enjoy this heaven. He mumbled incoherently under the pillow and snuggled further to his bed. Gods, sometime he forget that sleeping can feel so good, perhaps it's better if he... That's enough lesson for today, little Arthur, now go open your eyes, it's time for you to wake up. Open his eyes and take some water. His dry throat really could use one right now. He feel the joints on his back popped and making noise as he rose from his sleep. His eyes blearily open, the vision still blur and unclear, but he caught sight of something that like fireflies around him, their colors though not one but ranging from white, blue, green, red, brown, and black. He feel his head a bit airy and he close his eyes again, trying to make his mind clear. He take deep breath and let out small voice as he reopen his eyes. Where am I? That was what he thought as he saw where he is currently. The place was unfamiliar to him, a room that spread wide, quite big, with the wall decorated by red, gold and a slight black. The decoration and everything that put in there also looked quite extravagant. Briefly he looked to the bed and noticed it was around king size, a very big bed for single person. He looked down and also see that he no longer in his armor but in their place is red expensive looking with extravagant design kimono, their gold ornament in here and there. Seriously, whoever made this cloth seems have too much money and decide to put gold in their sleeping attire to waste them. Why the heck that sounds so familiar? Alright, those doesn't matter, right now he have to find out where is he never remember sleeping in. A massive abomination, called from dimension that not belong to any world, a horror that its existence is should never happen, a monster that born from gorging the carcass of demon beast, a blasphemy creature that dubbed as evil god, roaring and devouring anything that stood on its path like black hole, a bright golden light that rose above and pierced the very sky itself, like a pillar that reached the heaven and act as their support. Two figures that stood by his side, holding his hands, and together they swing down the destructive holy light and ending the eldritch horror for once and forever, the taste of metal and copper in his mouth, followed by countless blur of colors. Scream from Amelia and Rem that worried, then feeling of content and peace as he managed to sleep with ease knowing he succeed in taking down what traumatized him the most in his life. He remember them all. The gigantic horror, and I killed it using Excalibur. He murmured aloud as he dropped his legs from bed while holding his head. The memory was a bit blur for him, to be honest, they all like a dream. Was he already half unconscious the moment he activated Excalibur? Perhaps judging by how blur and hazy they were, he indeed already half collapsed, but... It was then he noticed their strange colored fireflies around his bed, around him to be precise, he blinked and scrutinizing his eyes. Lesser spirits? He thought as he stared at the fireflies that weaving around the air like a butterfly. What are they doing in here? As if noticing his look, the spirits reacted, they started to fly toward him and circling him, making the blonde blink as they floating around him like he is some kind of statue. He brushed them away, feeling annoyed, and the spirits float away from him. Only for a moment before they decide to gather around him again, flying in manner that not unlike joyful, making the pseudo-saber right eye twitched in annoyance. He then began to usher them away, almost swatting them with his hand but still missed nonetheless. However, it caused the spirits to pull back from him, they floating in air and this time not moved back to him. Then they spoke. Though it more like an incoherent grumble to his ears. Aaron blinked, once, twice. He then digging his ears use his pinky, then he leaned them forward. What? He can't hear them, even if his ear now directly pressed only few inches from their position. No, Aaron realized that it not like he can't hear them, to be precise he can't understand they saying. I can't understand you all. He said aloud as he stared at the 6 lesser spirits that gathering around him, but can you understand me? Why they are in here? Moreover, why the heck gathering around him in first place? Of course the spirits give no indication they understand his words, this make Eren frown but he continue nonetheless, he was in dark after all so it better to take a shoot than nothing. Leave me alone for now, okay? He doesn't know what to say so he only said that while make gesture with his hands as if to emphasizing his point, hoping for the spirits to understand at least non-verbal language. Fortunately they seems did as the spirits that hovering in the air slowly make distance between them and him, then they started to dissipate into the air, turn to nothingness. Eren stared at where the spirits moment ago with confusion, only for a moment before that feeling replaced by satisfaction as they won't bother him anymore. Then it changed to slight horror when something dawned to him. Wait, they didn't go kill themselves, right? He don't know how the spirits hide themselves from people, does they truly stop bothering him like he ordered? Or in reality they actually killed themselves? Truthfully he didn't too much care about the spirits, he have no connection to them after all, however to be responsible for the demise of something is. It kinda left bitter taste in his mouth. Where Emmy when you need her? He murmured, he wished she was here so he can ask her just what happened to those spirits. Speaking about Emmy. It remind him that he need to find out where is he right now. He tilt his head, searching for this world version of clock and he found one hanged on the wall. 2:45 LT or lunar time, or 2:45 PM in his original world. Already past noon huh? He thought. How long this time he fell asleep? Was it another 2 days? Was it longer? He have guessed it was the latter for some reason. There sounds of knob clacking and halted any further of his thought. He turned to the door direction and saw it opened, from there he meet face to face with certain green-haired royal candidate who clad in her usual working attire. She blinked, her face that show calm expression turned to one of surprise when caught sight of him standing in middle of room. Eren Pendragon. She called the name, her wide eyes glued to him, you have awakened. He give the woman sardonic smirk and tilt his head, it appears so. He said, or this could be your dream. The green-haired woman quirked her eyebrow, unlikely, for one, why I dreamed about you in first place. She asked, granted, I do waiting for you to awake from your sleep but knowing your condition I don't think it is something that's so dire. Is that so? He inquired with mischievous voice, I guess I should say I'm flattered for you to think that much about me. The swordswoman left eye twitch once and she let out sigh, now I know there is no way this is dream, there is no way fragment of my mind could be so annoying like this. She said while entering the room and closed the door. I will take that as compliment. Take it as whatever you want. She replied while waving her hand in brushing manner, so how is it? I see you're looking in better state now. Eren stared at her then he raised his hand, slowly he curled it into fist, he give small nudge to his magic core, feeling his mana for moment and give nod. Yeah. He confirmed, I feel fine, no as matter of fact. He narrowed his eyes, I feel stronger. I never feel this better. He muttered. He can sense it, the power inside him growing, he can tell his mana flow now become more powerful yet it's still controllable. His body also feel very good despite he just fire noble phantasm that could take his life at that time. Could it be that I get new skill? Damn, I left my book in Roswell's manor. He thought with slight annoyance. Stronger? Crush inquired, her voice contained slight shock, you're already strong enough to kill Hakugi by yourself and defeat Sword Saint and you said you're getting stronger now? Her voice clearly implied that she found the idea to be ridiculous, and my power tell me that you're not lying now. She sighed, I guess that was to be expected from someone who shares same blood with dragon who face witch of envy in past. You're overestimating me. Eren said, I'm not that powerful. Eren Pendragon there never recorded in history that there's someone powerful enough to bring down beast at Hakugi's size with pure strength like what have you done? Crush replied, she feels surprised at the modest response giving his personality, you're probably as strong as Reinhard or even more. Eren blinked at that statement. What? No, that was clearly impossible. Reinhard is bullshit, giving form seeing he can get any divine protection he want, the only chance he could die is if he meets something that possess anti-world or anti-divine attribute like gigantic horror who have something like pseudo-reality marble around it and thus rendering Reinhard's divine protection null. And while it's true that he sure as hell Reinhard would die if he activate Excalibur but the thing is there no way if they fight Reinhard will let him active the last phantasm. However what's shocking him is the way he compared to Reinhard. Sure that what he did is really something that can be dubbed as godlike, but Reinhard can do it too if he wants so. Ah. I get it. They didn't know. The whole Lugnica know that Reinhard is the strongest, declared by Tappei Nagatsuki as the most powerful character in Re-Zero, but they don't know that No one know the extent of his power. Reinhard never show it after all, he never meet opponent that make him able to fight at his maximum strength and people never get chance to see it. So far they know Reinhard is powerful, yes, but they never see the Sword Saint fight like him. All they know is the previous Sword Saint got killed by Hakugi, a proof that the beast is so dangerous that even managed to kill Sword Saint who end the demi-human rebellion, but in reality the one that responsible for killing Theoresia van Astrea is Pandora and she also lost her power during the fight. Trust me, you're still overestimating me. Eren chuckled, there's still many who can defeat me, and there are also many ways to kill me without fighting. I don't know how to respond to that. Should I be terrified that you really spoke with such honesty that there's something who is more powerful than you who slay that? Crush's face curled to discomfort and she seems shudder as she recalled the gigantic horror that rampaging. Don't think much about it, trust me. Eren replied, you should know that there will always be something above something. He stated, the world is big after all. You will always find something new, it's like a dream in a way, full of variation and endless. Crush stared at him with analyzing look, after a few seconds she let out small, humph, while smirking, you're right about that, dream is infinite and can't be measured. She spoke, her voice soft and carry slight nostalgia as she remembered the conversation she had with her best friend. Eren sensing there's something in her voice, however he also sensed that it seems private matter so he brushed it off anyway, how long I have been sleeping? He asked, and what happened after I slay that thing? I see you don't remember. Crush remarked, then again, given your state at that time, it can't be helped. She then walked to the closest chair and sit in there, you might as well take a seat Eren Pendragon, it will take a while. She said as she gestured to seat in front of her. Eren narrowed his eyes and nodded, he take the gestured seat and give inquiring look to the green-haired woman. Where should I start? She murmured, alright, let's start from the beginning. Hush, I'm trying to sleep. And with that, Eren Pendragon let his hand fall, smile of peace crossed to his face as he let his consciousness went away or at least that what he's supposed to say however in reality what come from his mouth is, gruff, gragum grgwng gro greep. Felix blinked. Emilia blinked. Rem blinked. Crush blinked. Everyone who in range of hearing his words blinking, what did he just say? Ricardo asked. I'm trying to sleep. Rem offered with confused voice, or it's something along that line. She paused and looked uncertain, but only for a moment before she nodded again, yes, Rem sure it's something like that. How can you be so sure? Felix asked, Eren-sama always mumbling incoherently in morning and Rem always there for him. She puffed her chest and put smile that not unlike smug expression while saying that, so Rem know what gibberish he talking about. Really? Felix seems interested, any good blackmail material? He asked, talk about that later. Crush chided with glare, focus on your duty Ferris. Yes Crush-sama. Felix said as he tried his best to focus, his eyes narrowed in deep concentration and he grimaced, I can't do it at this level, I need to do full body contact. He said as he throw his own cape away, strip away his armor. He ordered the armor he wore obviously magical and it can bother the healing process so it have to go away from him for now. Ricardo and Wilhelm immediately obeyed, they started to strip the man, albeit it's hard to do because for some reason the armor hooked very tight and strong but they still managed to do that in the end. Felix wasted no time to embrace the man, hugging him and began to concentrate, not even bothered by the idea of hugging another man in front of public. He take deep breath and then active his ability. The mana is not problem, Eren himself still have quite amount of them inside him thus he not in risk of dying from mana exhaustion. However his body is something else, apparently it seems unable to hold the sudden burst mana from his gate and now it started to break, the mana inside him went crazy and started to burning himself. Normally he can control someone OD with his simple touch thanks to his divine protection, however Eren's mana is not something that he ever seen in his whole life, and given he is the most famous healer in Lugnica that means something. The mana inside him is so potent and wild, when he touch him for the first time to heal his eardrums Felix nearly drowned from the sheer amount of them. If he not so experienced in this art he probably collapse from them so a simple touch won't do, it not going to be enough, he going to need his whole body so he can control the flow of the raging mana inside him. But even so the cat demi-human sense it's still not enough. He can't calm the raging mana so easily, he have to take a risk and let them to seep to his own body, it will hurt him, that amount of mana who wild and lashed out at anything clearly not something to be taken, not if you don't want to be harmed but he doesn't have choice, it either that or let the mana destroy Eren Pendragon's body from inside. Wait. What was that? Felix blinked and opened his eyes. They instantly widened at the sight that he saw, and the cat demi-human let out squeak as he immediately jumped away from Eren just in time to dodge a countless lesser spirits that rained down and swallow him whole. Bright light engulfed the field once again, blinding everyone and cut their sight from the wielder of holy sword. What is happening? Crush asked aloud as she tried her best to look using one eye, albeit it did not do any good. Why the lesser spirits? However, such thing is not bother for Amelia. She maybe can't see, but as spirit contractor she can sense and hear what they said perfectly clear. They healing him. Amelia shouted with awe. They calming his body. And that was what happened. Crush said while resting her chin on top of her interlocked arms. The lesser spirits healed you from your critical condition. After they done they disperse, and Felix check on your condition and declare that you're stable and only need rest. I see. Eren muttered as Crush finished the story. So the lesser spirits was the one who healed him, and how long that has been? You have sleep for around 35 hours, I believe. The blonde blinked in surprise. Only more than 1 day. Giving you're healed by 1,000 or possibly more lesser spirits at same time, I don't think that should be surprise. Well, if she put it that way. Eren rubbed his chin with hum. She is right, such things shouldn't be surprise in first place. There are many things that I want to ask you. Eren blurted out as he broken from his stupor and stared directly at Crush. However, I think those questions will be asked later as well by the other. She continued and closed her eyes for a second. Now, I have something to say. Something? He asked curiously. Eren Pendragon, you're not stupid, surely you know that I hate you. Ah. So it about that. He thought, he knew there would be confrontation with Crush, but to be honest he never thought it would be this soon. Yes, I know that. He said, and to be honest, had I'm in your position I would feels the same. It was the swordswoman turn to blink after hearing that. You do? Of course, I mean, I'm practically throwing everything you worked and built for into ruin. Eren chuckled bitterly. You would hate me if we were trading position, but you don't want to be hated, I assume, right? Yes. That was very hypocrite of you. Contradicting against each other is in human nature, you should know that. He replied in flippant manner, people like the truth but they hate it when something too truthful. Crush stared at the young man that sit before her, her amber eyes keenly observed the pseudo-saber, then she closed her eyes and let out sigh. I can't get you. She said, you're not noble or honorable like how you appear to be, I can tell you not caring much about chivalry. However at same time you like them, enough to commit at any time, but when things come you not hesitate to push them away. She opened her eyes and give look to him, not end in there, if it does then I would regard you as someone who have questionable moral sense, but with heart. No, what make it very confusing is your belief, it is anything but immoral, it is honorable and noble dare I said. She shake her head and seems exasperated, it's like you're having two-face or something like that. Eren let out snort at that, two-face, yeah, he heard them before alright, to think he will heard it from someone else other than Ram. Speaking about Ram, Eren feel his mood soured a bit, he recalled the kiss they share and the blonde won't hesitate to admit that he enjoy their kiss. Ram is pretty girl after all. And her personality also make her look unique in certain way, so yes, while he is not in love with her but he won't deny that he attracted to her in physical way. But that not matter too much, it still did, but hey, he have his priority here, what make him sour is that they still like a stranger to each other, despite they already trusted and apologize each other before. Ram knew Eren-sama never mean it in first place and Ram also sorry, for suspicious on Eren-sama, for ever thinking Eren-sama working for the witch. Ram knew that Eren-sama never would do so, but at that time, Ram too caught in her emotion. Forgive Ram. The smiling face of Ram and her gentle words crossed to his mind and he blanched internally. Let it go, you still can fix it, it would be okay. He thought with sigh inwardly. To be not remembered. Now he knew how Subaru felt when he returned from his third death, all his work to bond with Ram and Rem. All of them practically got undone when he died for the first time in Wulgarm's curse. Eren Pendragon. He blinked and looked at her. You look troubled. Crush said, want to share it? No, not really. He chuckled, it is something that I can take care by myself in the end and not that big. Anyway, what with this Eren Pendragon, stuff Karsten-san. Why stop calling me Pendragon-san like you did? I found calling your full name seems more appealing and easy for some reason. She answered, and you can call me by my first name, I prefer that one much more and I think after fighting together you earn it. If you say so Crush-san. Anyway, Eren Pendragon, I wish to continue what I said. Crush stated, I hate you, you are everything that I oppose, the reason why right now I'm in very hard situation. Her amber eyes become sharp and she glaring at the blonde who remain impassive, but... It's not your fault. She said, her voice seemed strained when saying that but their warmness in there, it's not your fault like you said, it never was, and for that, I can't blame you for what happened. Well, he was loss of words to be honest, she sounded very sincere, genuine, and heartful dare he say, thank you. What else he could say other than that? Crush smiled at her for the first time they start talking, and Aaron found her smile to be quite captivating, no, thank you. She replied in very soft voice, you made me realize my mistake and my flaw, you were my enemy and you know I hate you, I did not even try to hide my animosity but you still saved me, and for that I am very grateful to you Aaron Pendragon. Save her. Made her realize. What's she talking about? He asked internally, I didn't do anything much. I have to slay that monster or we going to die, it's not much option to be honest. Crush blinked at him, she stared at him for few seconds and she realized that he was being honest, he truly doesn't know, oblivious to what he had done and that make her laugh. Aaron blinked, she have nice laugh alright. No, not that part. She said, it was when you raise your sword to us, you show me the reality and the most important thing I had forgotten after I lost my friend. Show her reality. The most important thing? Aaron thought incredulously. What does she even mean? They barely talk and even when that happened they trade hidden insult to each other and... A light that represent victory, light that made from crystallization of wishes of the mankind, light that give blessing of joy and hope to those who seek it no matter how vile or corrupted they are in nature, it is light that will banish any corruption and darkness in heart by remind everyone who gaze upon it their honor and glory. Oh. He realized what she truly mean, Excalibur. He murmured in mixture of surprise and soft voice, you see it. He then smiled, small and barely exist but it is there. Yes, I see it. Her voice become warm and gentle, it as if she just remembers something so beautiful and giving Excalibur nature, Aaron sure whatever she saw clearly it even beyond beautiful in comparison, Excalibur. She murmured the name, rolling it in her tongue, that is the name of that sword right? Yes. Crush face show bright expression but it quickly retracted, her eyebrow twitch once before she close her eyes, her face schooled and she take deep breath before letting it out. I have questions, so many, but the other as well, so I guess it better if I asked when they come here. She said with calm face, showing that she still know to hold herself back despite how curious she is now, and I will go straight to the point, Aaron Pendragon, I want to apologize. Aaron blinked, once, twice, thrice, then he blurted out the most thing that currently formed by his brain, what? I'm sure you heard me but I will repeat it. Crush replied, I want to apologize. She repeated in strict voice. Apologize. For what? I hate you, no. To be precise I hated you. Crush corrected, but I realized that I cannot hold such petty feeling, like you said, it's not your fault and I'm agree to it. She said firmly, and I ashamed that I hated you in first place, as someone who will lead this country, I cannot afford to hold such petty feeling. She stated, and because of that, I want to say sorry for my unfair treatment to you. Aaron gazed at the green-haired woman, her face show honest apologetic and regret expression. Meeting such emotion. What else he can say, but, it's okay. He said, I can understand how you felt and empathize with that. She then smiled to him, beautiful, mellow, soft, and Aaron reminded that for all her boy-like attire who sitting in front of him right now is a woman that can be considered as one of the most beautiful girl in Lugnica. Thank you. She said sincerely. You're welcome. Aaron replied. Then the green-haired woman extend her hand to her and Aaron stare at it, and he raise his and grasp hers then shake it. I'm looking forward to talk with you more in future Aaron Pendragon. She told him, let's get along from now on. Same here Crush-san. He said, let's do that. They both smiled at each other while shaking their hands, while doing this the blonde turned and looking around. By the way, I still don't know where am I now. Ah, that's true. Crush nodded, well, we're currently in Burial-san place. Priscilla-san. Yes. She confirmed. Aaron tilted his head and began to look around, then he looked down to see his attire. Red, black and golden. Yeah, that was her colors alright, he should see it since the beginning. Shaking his head he put confused look, why we didn't go back to capital. Politic. Crush answered in flat voice. Politic? Aaron repeated with blink, what do you mean? You remember one of the main goals of our hunt right? One of purpose why you and the other royal candidate being included to this expedition, other than stopping that thing of course. Aaron's face scrunched to thoughtful expression as he began to dig his memory. Soon he found the one that he want to and then put the puzzle together with their current situation. Ah. They want us to parade around, aren't they? He asked rhetorically. This goal is to present the public all royal candidate who will be their queen and him who are the descendant of dragon, and to do that obviously all of them need to be present and conscious. While it's true that they slaying Hakugiai to stop the beast for coming to capital, but what people knew is this is just another expedition, another hunt to put down the beast for good. This expedition has failed in past despite they have Sword Saint with them and the kingdom condition also not fare any better. But with their success now, it time to raise the morale of people once again and to add more boost they also going to tell everyone that all royal candidate and him is the one who managed to finish what other failed. And his existence as descendant of the great dragon also going to be supported with this deed. After all, a sword saint has fell to this beast, proof that how powerful Hakugiai is, but that demon beast fell to the hand of descendant of their dragon. He succeed where someone who can stand against army by herself and dubbed as Lugnika's strongest ace failed. If that was not enough to prove his strength, then nothing else could. But how we going to do parade? Aaron asked with frown. As far I recall, nothing is left from Hakugiai. The gigantic horror swallow the remain of carcass like a pair of Tyrannosaurus gorging a single elephant. Yeah. Crush grimaced, it obvious she's still not comfortable remembering the monster appearance. But that expression gone and replaced with small smirk, however thanks to you we still have our trophy. Huh. When you shred apart Hakugiai from inside using your wind technique, you tear part of it head away from the main body, and that part seems not touched. She informed, we got Hakugiai's horn, along with small part of it head, and I think that more than enough to show everyone it is really Hakugiai. That was good news. He said, and indeed it was. Aaron can understand what she said. Hakugiai's horn is by any mean not small. It even almost reached third size of the beast itself, it bigger than most demon beasts that people often see, so now that I already conscious can we dash. The knob on the door clicked and cut his words in midway. Both swords user turned to see who coming as the door opened, revealing certain cat demi-human and blue-haired Oni. Crush-sama, I come here Tanaya. Aaron Kyun. Felix let out surprised voice when noticed the man already standing and now with his boss. Aaron-sama. Rem murmured, eyes wide and filled with shock as she stared at him. Aaron seeing them let smile cross to his face, hello Ferris, Riomf. Aaron-sama. He did not even get to finish his words as blue blur tackling his stomach with a strength that would make certain eccentric red saber proud. Under normal circumstance Aaron would be more than capable to hold himself from falling, however there few problem right now. For one, his body still facing Crush's direction and he also not expect for Rem to charge straight to him, thus his stance not ready. And two, he's still holding hand with Crush which make his posture more wide and not balance. So he fall to ground. With his hands still holding Crush's. Wah! The result? The trio fall together almost in a sync with yelp of their own. The moment they touch the floor there the position of their fall was anything but comfortable. Well, maybe comfortable to one of them but not the rest. Rem practically sprawling on Aaron's back while hugging him who on top of Crush, having their hands still interlocked to each other while the blonde other hand pressed to her stomach. Aaron-sama. Aaron-sama. You're awake. You're awake. Rem repeated with voice that expressed joy, happiness and relief, she practically burying her face to his back. Rem. Aaron yelped as he feel himself pushed further, while I'm happy that you showing such concern but stop pushing me. If he was on the floor it would be fine, however right now he was on top of Crush, his chest literally pressed to hers, and boy he can felt them alright and his red cheeks also rested to the green-haired woman forehead now. Of course the blue Oni did not listen and only clutch him harder, making him yelp further and the woman beneath him groaned. Rem-san. Aaron Kyun. Get up from Crush-sama. Felix squawked as he rushed over to them. I heard their ruckus. Amelia yelled as she appeared from the door with hasty expression, what is going Aaron? She called in surprise when noticed the blonde in floor. Anastasia and Priscilla apparently also behind her and the former let out gasp when noticed Rem glued to Aaron's back who on top of Crush that squirming beneath the weight while the latter let out snort. See? I told you all, he will awake today. Priscilla commented, she unfold her fan and smirked, and he also create interesting situation as well. Oh my, how bold Aaron-san. Anastasia commented with slight red face, can I join you all? Hey. What's the big deal? A familiar voice yelled with annoyance, causing ruckus in middle of the way. The person popped her head in, her follower also do the same, and she let out gasp, "Big bro. What the hell are you doing? Oh my." Her follower let out small voice before he extend his hands and cover his mistress' eyes. "Felt-sama, I think you're still too young to see this. Reinhard. Get your damn hands out from my eyes." Meanwhile beneath the man and the maid crush, Karsten groaned. She seems oblivious that her chest's practically pressed to Aaron's and have his cheek rested on her forehead. "I take it back, Aaron Pendragon, if this how we going to end every time we meet." She glared at him, though he can't see it. "Let's not get along. This is the second time they meeting, and in that second time too he crushed her like this. And while true he might be doesn't have his armor this time, but he have extra weight on his back that heavier than his armor. Alright." Aaron coughed as he managed to free from Rem's iron grip and now sit properly in table. Said the maid, now standing behind him with content expression, while on his side is Amelia, Priscilla, Anastasia, Crush, who now blatantly glaring at him, and Felt was sitting on different seats. All royal candidate was accompanied by their respective knight who standing behind their seats. "So, why you all come here again?" he asked. His eyes shifted from one to another. "I get it that you want to see my condition, and as you all can see I'm perfectly fine, so." He gestured to their meeting with his hand. "Why the gathering?" "This is my manor." Priscilla answered flippantly. "Why I'm here is irrelevant, this is my property." "Point for her." He thought dully, and he turned to the other and gave inquiring look. He briefly noted that Julius watching him with conflicted expression, much to his confusion. However, it was not in bad way. "I come here for your sword," Anastasia said with cheerful smile. "Same here," Crush added. "I don't know what sword they talking about, but I also curious, that's why I'm here." Felt also agreed. "By the way bro, you not even come to see me personally while visiting the other," she said with stink eye. "Ah, sorry Felt, but I was busy," Aaron replied while let out chuckle. "Why you want me to visit you anyway?" "Because in my place it was boring," Felt said flatly. "Bro, you have no idea what hell I had went through with this man." She pointed to Reinhard behind. "Felt-sama." Reinhard let out exasperated sigh. "I believe you exaggerated things too much." "Shut up, you don't know how damn annoying it is. Do you know how much books that I read? It feels like I got buried by a mountain." She yelled at him. "And don't you dare to mention when they're guest coming at our place." "Great gods. Ah. You have it rough, I see," Aaron commented with flat face. "And how your opinion, Reinhard?" "Well, while it's true that Felt-sama is a bit hard to teach, but she made very good progress, to be honest," Reinhard said with smile. "I believe she will be able to act like proper lady just in next few months." "Is that so?" Aaron turned to Felt and give her look. "I expect no less from you." "Why the hell, that sounded like insult instead compliment," Felt asked with irritation. "And what with that smug face? You want me to hit you?" "I'm not mocking you Felt. It just..." Aaron let out chuckle, hearing what Reinhard said. "While it's true that I'm sure you can act as proper lady in future." He make gesture while saying that, and he truly believe in that too. Reinhard have divine protection that greatly helping her after all. To be honest, despite Felt now have the smallest foundation, but give Reinhard time and Aaron sure he will be the biggest wall for Amelia's path to become king, but I don't think you will ever become one. He said with blunt manner. "You're too much free-spirited after all." Felt blinked at that, once, twice. Then she turned to Reinhard. She stared at him for a moment before return her gaze to him. "Did you too ever talking about me or something like that?" she asked. "Because that was what that guy say about me too." She pointed to Reinhard. "Really? Well then that just mean Reinhard here know how to judge person with very good." Aaron chuckled. "By the way Reinhard, if I recall you were ordered to searching for members of which cult that lurking around. How the result?" "Ah, that." Reinhard began to recall what his encounter. "It was like you suspected, there are 2 platoon of witch cults that were led by 2 archbishop. Naturally I dispose them all and make sure none survive." Aaron's eyes widened at the news, despite it shouldn't be surprised given Reinhard's enormous strength, but to hear that he accomplished them still. No, it more like Aaron surprised that the 2 archbishop did not manage to escape or run when they saw Reinhard. Either they were too idiot or Reinhard did not let them. Aaron thought, and the archbishop? Which sin were they? Strangely both of them is gluttony. Reinhard answered. Gluttony? Both of them? Now that was more surprise, there was no Regulus among them. Both of them? He inquired. I also found it strange, to be honest. Reinhard nodded with small frown. As far I know, each sin only can be possessed by one archbishop. He said, perhaps originally those two share some kind of divine protection that make them connected to each other, and thus they share their power together. He speculated. Perhaps. Aaron hummed as he recalled everything he knew about gluttony. To be honest, Aaron was thinking gluttony would be the one that less troubling for him. Unlike Subaru, who weak, he is strong as hell, and if you recall, what make gluttony dangerous is actually their one-hit KO technique, where they can consume people's existence or memory when they knew their target real name just by touching them. Oh sure, they are fast, they are strong as well. Compared to most people, they are undoubtedly powerful. Even Julius also fall to them. However, though speed and strength has nothing to him, who right now possibly one of strongest existence in Lugnica in term of raw power. They can use magic, but he is Saber, his magic resistance will render all their spells to be useless. The chance they would be able to touch him also very small, given his instinct skill and now his newest fighting style that allow him to be on par with Servant. Beside it, not like he going to tell him his real name, so he doesn't need to worry about that. It's not Regulus, huh? Damn. However, at same time, Aaron found himself sorely disappointed that it was not Regulus. He is the strongest of all Archbishop of Sins and also the most problematic. Granted, it not that hard, all he need to do is kill all his wives who can't be far away from him when he fight, and the Archbishop will perish, but doing such thing is not easy. Regulus is powerful, his attack ignoring endurance of his opponent wholly, just one wrong move and his body will torn by the Archbishop attack. Then there Capella and Sirius as well, who attack through mental technique, and authority is not magic, even if he get resistance thanks to his magic core, but it's still going to be pain in ass when fighting them. Well. Beggar can't be a chooser, I guess. He thought with sigh internally. Though he must admit it still bring comfort to his mind that now gluttony already gone, with this no one going to be eaten and forgotten by the world again. Not to mention it brings satisfaction that those two died not with a blast but stomped like a baby trying to fight adult. Yeah, that what they get for eating Rem and make Subaru suffer in canon. I believe we are straying away from our original topic here. Crush said in strict voice, breaking Aaron from his stupor. Crush-san, right. Anastasia agreed. I want to know about Aaron-san's sword. We all want to, right? She asked while giving look to them before focus her gaze to him. Aaron quirked his eyebrow at their inquiring gaze. He can even feel one from Amelia and Rem. While it's true he have no problem answering for them, but to these people. You all realize that I'm under no obligation to answer or said anything, right? He said, but I guess. He let out sigh. After seeing what happened, you all have right to know at least what I possess. See what? Felt asked. Ah, I forget you're not with us during the hunt. If I may ask, what are you doing at that time? I have my study and sleep. Felt answered. She then glared at Reinhard, who only smiled. If I knew there's such thing happen, I will stay awake. You're already fell asleep just when I returned, Felt Sama, and seeing you exhausted like that, I think it best to let you sleep. Well. That actually not strange reason. They were very late when hunting Hakugiai, their battle itself was at 2 in morning. Felt is still young, so of course Reinhard let her stay in home and rest. Then I guess. Maybe I can show you a bit what they saw later. He hummed. That comment make everyone in the room perked up an instant. There, everyone save for Felt, held their breath and stare at him with expression that ranging from wonder, awe, interested, to downright loving. You going to show it to us again? Anastasia murmured, her voice filled with hope and thick emotion. Aaron briefly glanced at her, noticing the emotion in her face, and he shifted his gaze to other. He noted that save for Felt, who confused, and Priscilla, who simply look interested, they all have expression of longing. And Reinhard, who smiled at him, but his smile seems carry something. Something that not bad and seems filled with ill intent actually, but I wonder. Reinhard van Astria is not normal, that was obvious, and Aaron have theory of what his true nature is, and it just strengthened by the appearance of her. Then perhaps what he saw in that light is not really. Aaron said, Excalibur is sacred sword, I won't show it true form to anyone like it's some kind of poster. He makes sure to give them glare in here to emphasize his word. What I mean is, maybe next time if Felt here go out and things like that happen, she would get her chance. Beside, even if I show it to you all, it won't be like last time. He informed them, what you all saw, it only can be seen when Excalibur at its fullest. He stated, make no mistake, it is powerful weapon, but there few condition and situation for it activation. Powerful, he said. Felix murmured, he blow the entire forest along nearby mountain and even still continue, it will blow many more mountain if there few that stand on it path. Aaron blinked as he heard that, however he knew the cat demi-human did not mean to said that aloud, he heard it because he have better hearing sense than normal human. Still. Burning the entire forest he still can get it, blowing mountain also not impossible. But still continue and more. Now that was unexpected. To be honest, nuclear's still going to be like harmless ant if it raw power compared to Excalibur. However, Excalibur flaw is it range, it maybe possess power to blow entire mountain easily but it can't blow island because it range not that big. Was Excalibur become stronger? Affected just like how gigantic horror ascended into something more. He have to check on that later, for now he have something else to do. And that condition? Priscilla inquired. Saving the world apparently one of them. He answered flippantly. No one tried to rebuke or asking that claim. Despite how incredulous and exaggerated it sounds, but they all won't deny it, not after what they see when he stand alone, when all of them fall to their knee and become powerless, when he pull his sword and show them the light. Well. Al chimed in with indecipherable tone, I did not to expect Excalibur to be able to do that in first place. Aaron shift his attention to him, so do everyone in the room, and what do you expect from it? I dunno, probably anything but something that would make nuclear look only second-rate weapon in term of destruction. Nuclear? Crush asked. A genocide weapon that capable to destroy city at capital size with single strike and even blow mountain. Aaron answered darkly as he recalled what he knew about nuke, not end in there, that weapon destructive force is not the worst thing. What make it very bad is it highly poisonous to the point turn any land it strike into dead land that like dessert, but worse seeing it will contain venom that would kill anyone but still not stopped in there, it also going to affect the children of those who infected even if they survive somehow. That. Amelia sounded so horrified at the idea, what kind of weapon is that? You can say in a way at least that created so people not killing themselves or went crazy too much. Aaron snorted darkly. A leash that capable to massacre thousand? Crush also seems disapprove of the weapon existence, judging from her frown, more like a sword pointed to throat. Perhaps. Aaron mused. Wait, that was weapon from your homeland right, Aaron-san? Anastasia asked and she got nod from him, so how Al-san here know that? Ah. That. Well. Al scratched the back of his neck, well, long short story, I actually come from same place like Aaron-san here. That make everyone save for Amelia's camp and Priscilla's put shocked look, they all stare at Al with new light. You come from land beyond Great Waterfall too? Crush asked in shock. Yes. And he spoke the truth, Crush Power told her that without doubt or hesitation. Speak about that later. Aaron interjected before any question could be asked further, you all can talk to Al-san personally about that topic. He don't want to talk more about their world to these people, it make him feel uncomfortable and also would giving too much, not to mention it also going to open another can of questions. Do you have something else to say, Al-san? Not really, I guess. He said with small pause and appeared to be thoughtful under his helmet. Excuse me, Pendragon-sama. Julius finally spoke for the first time ever since he's staring at Aaron. The blonde tilted his head as a gesture, yes? He asked, feels free to use my first name actually, that worked to all of you as well. He said while give look to everyone. Very well, Aaron-sama. Julius repeated, I understand that you don't want to show us Excalibur once again, and in a way, I can understand. He said, it is sacred sword, a treasure that possess high value after all and not a trophy to flaunt around, had I'm in your position I would do the same. His eyes and face show how serious he is and he truly mean it, but can you answer one question for me? What is it? Aaron inquired. What is Excalibur? He asked. That make everyone narrow their eyes to the purple-haired knight, however he not paying attention and solely focused on the pseudo-servant. What is Excalibur, huh? Aaron repeated, his voice contained slight hint of amusement, before that let me make this clear. What I have is strictly mine, and it can't taken away from me no matter what. And by some miracle if Excalibur somehow got taken from me, it still can't be used by anyone except me. There no need to say that in first place, it's not related after all, however he did that to dissuade any idea to steal Excalibur that might appear in their mind, especially to the certain purple-haired royal candidate. As for answering your question. Well, it is sword that you can say forged with purpose to save the world like what I did back then, however I have feeling that wasn't what you mean to ask. He touched his chin and let out small hum, it's sword that forged in the core of the world. Core of the world. Crush spoke aloud with questioning tone. It is forged inside the world, within her body, unlike all other swords you had seen or face. It not forged by mortal hand by any means, so any attempt to replicate it would be useless. Even the best magic user in the world wouldn't be able to pale imitation of it. Save for Shiro Amiya, however, he was different case, seeing he is more like a sword than human, giving his origin and element, not to mention his lifestyle, also abnormal. It. Julius swallowed, his handsome face shows sign of shock, anxious and yet also awe. Then. It is sword that made by God. In some way, yes it is. Aaron answered flippantly. To said majority of them was shocked is understanding. It is not like they have any doubt about Excalibur origin. They had seen what it capable of, had seen what miracle it brought upon them, had seen how it saved them from some kind of abomination that made the world itself cry just by exist. However, to hear it directly like that is still something else. Then you're truly divine being, aren't you? Julius continued, his voice slight dry. Divine being? Aaron asked, what make you say that? It is weapon of God, made by one. There is no way the one who wield is mortal or human at all. Julius said. I don't get it actually. Felt chimed in as she's scratching her head. I mean, that was one of hell of sword. Yeah, just hearing it kinda make it sounds awesome, but... She tilt her head, what's the point? I mean, isn't bro here is already proved to be some kind of descendant of dragon or like demigod to other? We all saw it when he touched the badge. It's not that simple, felt Sama. Julius admonished the young girl lightly. I know it must be hard for you to understand because you weren't there and saw it directly, but... His eyes become glazed as he recall when that light rose to the sky, and calling upon thousands of lesser spirit, and how those spirits sing and cheering in absolute joy. Aaron-sama, when you raise your sword to sky, when you unveil Excalibur true form, the spirits, all of them come to you, they bow and praise you. The light that you unleash giving them strength, you made them coherent and conscious once more, surely you know what that means. Lesser spirits originally is what remain of those who dead, they all barely conscious and self-aware, more like animals or pets in certain way. However, unlike them, they're very picky and also can be said not interested to interact with living being. They're already dead after all, so they has no wish to communicate with the living. But this man, Aaron Pendragon, not just managed to call and command them all. He also somehow able to empowering them, clearing their mind and making them become something that almost alive and have their consciousness return just like living being. The fact they all can shout aloud during that time is proof of that. And what else you would call someone who able to command the dead to at that level and have them love him so much like that other than divine being? Divine, huh? Aaron muttered, he then take a breath, pausing for a moment before sighing, let me explain this once to you all so there's no need for me to repeat it in future. He looked to one after another to all who in the room. I'm not a divine being. As matter of fact, if Volcanica really shares similar trait or origin with dragon I related into, then he is anything but a divine. Dragon is a power-given form, mana that become alive and separate itself from nature, thus become independent and sentient in a way. They able to do many things, wrecking country, creating something not unlike natural disaster, they capable to give blessing as well that's similar like miracle in certain way. However, for all that power, please noted that dragon is not divine, that include Volcanica, unless he is god that taken form of dragon, that would be different matter, but I doubt that, it creature that has transcended surpassing most of magical beast, be it demonic or normal one. Crush-san, remember I told you that I'm similar like Reinhard? You can say that was completely correct. My power is something that I achieved from my predecessor, different in details, but you can say there's some similarities between us in that part. He finished his explanation while giving look to Reinhard, who only stare at him with calculating and soft expression. The strongest knight of Lugnica appeared to also heard his explanation with interest. Truthfully, he giving lot of info to them here, too much for his liking by revealing that part as matter of fact. It could be more simple if he accept that these people claim him to be divine being or such thing, and he very tempted to do so, however he don't want to do that because their chance it could bite him back in ass. Of course Aaron won't say anything to dissuade the rumor if people start to make assumption, it is useful one after all and can be used in numerous way. He only going to deny it if he got confronted directly like this, but if not, well, feels free to think him something like that. It worked for his advantage after all. Now that was clear, I also going to say one more thing. Aaron continued, Julius-san, etch this to your mind, from the moment it forged Excalibur is never meant to be carried in hand of God, and it doesn't contain power of God as well. But what we saw Excalibur is forged by the hand of God, in the core of the world herself, however it not made from gods or divine power, it made from all wishes of mankind. That declaration make everyone breath stopped for a second. Aaron give them smile and here, those spirits did not come because they commanded or ordered, no, they never was. They come because that light show them their deepest desire, their hope, their glory and honor when they were alive, the dream that they searching for very long time. He said in soft voice, it's not light of God that save us from that monster, but light of men. Light of every individual that's scattered around the world, be it demi-human or human. He finished his explanation. There's silence as everyone stare at Aaron, loss of words from his explanation. Then they all, save for felt, recall what they saw when that light soared to the sky as if piercing the very heaven itself, what they felt when the light washing over them with warmth and comfort like a parent embrace, what they found in that beautiful and sacred light. Every individual It was broken by Priscilla Bariel, the Sun Princess, the beautiful woman in red had her fan folded in front of her lips that curled into soft smile. You certainly have very good belief and know how to put your words there, Aaron Pendragon. Priscilla spoke and the pseudo-saber noted that it was the first time she called him by his name, not, my knight, or, my dragon, but real name, you're just like what you appear when I saw you in first time, someone who worthy of my attention. She said with chuckle, now then. She slowly stand, I already get what I come here so I will take my leave. She gives scrutinizing look to Aaron, and make sure you clean yourself properly for tonight. For tonight? Aaron blinked, what will happen tonight? Ah, right, there will be small celebration later. Amelia answered, tonight in Bariel Sand's front garden. A small celebration? There will be official party later held in castle perhaps to celebrate the death of that beast. Priscilla answered, then she sniffed with disdain, however knowing those old fart, the party probably will be next week. It was too long for my taste so I decide to start my own first. Well. Aaron put complicated face, on the other hand this might be interesting thing, however giving his current situation now he don't want to attract too much attention. Oh who he was kidding, there no turning back anymore, not after he pull Excalibur and show it to the entire army. Well I will take my leave too then. Crush said as she stand as well. Me too. Felt added. I have something to say to Aaron-san. They all turned to Anastasia who's smiling at Aaron. The pseudo-saber blinked once before he tilted his head. Yes Anastasia-san. He actually not in mood now to talk with her. Make no mistake he quite enjoyed their interaction truthfully, sending hidden message and like that, it almost like when he talked with his father about the latter job but right now he want this conversation ended fast. He want to take a bath and grab a food damn it. I want to say thank you. Anastasia said, her smile that she wore before was polite one but now. It truly feels genuine and like an angel. Thank you. He uttered in confusion. The purple-haired woman slowly stood and then approached the pseudo-saber, she bent her body a bit to get to his level and her eye locked to his. Don't you remember what I offered to you before the battle against Hakugi? Yes, I did. He had bad feeling now, and that was not related to Amelia who flare her nostril followed by Rem tightened facial expression, no sir. Whoever said that is lying and would meet face to face with flat side of Excalibur. I'm being honest you know. Anastasia muttered softly, there even small pink hue adorning her cheeks, and I know you probably still suspicious but let me show to you that I mean it. Mean it? It take 1 second for Aaron's brain to connect the dot and he paled a bit, wait, Anna. Before Aaron can say anything else the head mercenary grasp his face and pull him to her and give him full kiss on the lips. Anastasia not stopping there, after kissing him she press her lips further, deepening the kiss while pulling the blonde toward her while letting out small moan in his mouth and make his lips twitched a bit, unconsciously making him return the kiss. Their sound of crack resonated from the background but Anastasia didn't care and Aaron apparently still in deep shock to react. The beautiful purplet drawing herself back from Aaron, a single strand of drool trailed between their lips. I. Anastasia feel her cheeks become hotter for some reason, and she not faking it, it was real, I. Like it. She murmured, her breath breezed to Aaron's directly. That snapped the blonde mind from his shock as his brain finally finished rebooted. Aaron's cheeks become red, his pupils dilated as he stared at the purplet who now straddling him. Once more. She whispered as she draw herself close to him. Oh hell no. Aaron thought as he pulled himself and raised his hand to. Apparently his movement was unnecessary as suddenly the head of the mercenary got the back of her shirt yanked, enough to make her yelped. And to the blonde's surprise it was Priscilla who pulled her. And judging by the red aura that shimmering around her and her deep scowling face. It's safe to say that she was pissed right now. Who? You damn vixen. Priscilla's words was accompanied by voice that filled with anger. So this is what you mean by start biting, huh? You dare to touch what is mine? Era? You look pretty upset there, Burial-san. Anastasia meanwhile seems not fazed by the anger. Her polite smile returned and she looked like innocent child. And what yours? As far I know, Aaron-san here not belong to anyone. He pretty much said it to me when we talked first time. Alright, Haim-sama. I'll immediately walk forward as he know if things goes down then this will end very badly. I think it's better if we go out and take some relaxation, yes? Don't try to stop me, Al. Priscilla-sama, with all respect, will you please release Anastasia-sama? Julius chimed in as he entered the fray too. He also appeared to be disturbed as well to what just happened. We don't need to use violence for this. And then the argument began between the two groups. Meanwhile Crush, who watching, simply stare at Aaron, who now pressed by Amelia, and Rem, then to Anastasia and Priscilla, who arguing. Briefly her eyes caught sight of ice started to form on the corner of the room and wall near Amelia, followed by the temperature that slowly dropped. Meanwhile she also sensed on the temperature on the other side raising, and judging by the red aura that shimmering from Priscilla, it did not need to take genius to guess who responsible for it. That's it, I'm out from here. She murmured as she started to walk away. She was wise enough to not stay here any longer. She can get caught in argument if she did, not to mention their chance this room can explode anytime from the ice and heat that gathering. Come on, Ferris. She will deal how to recruit Aaron Pendragon to her side later. For now it better to not get involved in this kind of mess. Coming, Crush-sama. The cat demi-human shoot one last look to Aaron before he giggled and follow his mistress. Felt-sama, we have to go as well. Reinhardt said. Eh? Why? It was fun to watch them. Felt complained as she found the argument between Priscilla and Anastasia was amusing, while Aaron, who now pressured, also funny. Trust me, it's for the best. The knight said as he ushered the petite girl. Aaron. How could you? Amelia demanded. Her voice was cold and filled with pain, there even tears shimmering around her eyes. Agree. Aaron-sama, how could you? Rem agreed with vehement voice. How could I what? Aaron replied back, I'm not the one who kissing her. He defended himself. Briefly he caught sight of floor and her seat start to freezing. That was not good sign, not at all. Even so. Amelia feel her heart going to break for some reason. It hurt. It really hurt. Why? You make child with her. It unfair. Emmy, please wait, what? Aaron asked when registering what he said. Apparently Amelia's word managed to make the entire room to halt, from Anastasia and Priscilla, who arguing to Crush, and Felt, who about to leave. Make child. Anastasia feel her cheeks flushed a bit. Well, I'm not very opposed to the idea, but it was too soon, I guess. She murmured so low that it only heard by herself. Make child. Aaron repeated with dumbfounded voice, Emmy, what are you? Then he remembered. He remembered that Amelia still doesn't know where baby come from in first place. Yes. You kiss her. And. Despite how she was sobbing slightly with tears that almost shed from her eyes now, but in certain way it almost looked like comical scene, because of the reason why she is so sad is because very stupid misunderstanding. And you two going to have children together. Their utter silence when the half-elf said that aloud. They all stared at her as if she just grow pair of wings and extra head from her shoulder. You don't know where children come from? Aaron asked again. It was a rhetorical question and he already knew the answer, but when faced directly like this. Amelia sniffed, but she realized that everyone now looking at her, so she answered, of course I do. When boy and girl kiss in lips they will have baby. You're telling the truth. Crush said in shocked voice, breaking the silence, by the gods, you really telling the truth. She repeated, you truly believed that children come from kissing. It wasn't wrong actually, but it not complete answer. Amelia blinked once, then she stared at everyone and tilt her head, it's not. No. The entire room said to her in perfect sync. He feel like want to cry now, he really did. How the hell his life becomes so complicated like this? It has been 1 hour after that particular conversation, and right now Aaron found himself drowning himself in warm and hot bath to calm the headache that currently invading his temple. After Amelia's declaration about how children come from kissing, the argument thankfully ceased, and after that Aaron told her to go out and ask Rem and other women who willing to explain to her just where children came from, and after that he told them to do that outside. He was too young to explain bird and bees after all. Too young to deal with that kind of shit, not to mention he want to take a poop at that time. Seriously, what do you expect from someone who unconscious for more than 30 hours? And so now he found himself relaxing in the hot and comfortable bath, with particular person in his mind. Anastasia Hashin. Of all the things she did. Aaron thought that Anastasia is subtle person judging by her personality, and he is right, she indeed subtle and can be very discreet. However, what he never thought is she can be so very blunt at same time. Seriously, what kind of woman who straightly kiss a man in front of everyone while declaring her intention like that? The idea was so ridiculous to the point it threw off the cable of his mind temporarily. Great gods! How should I handle this now? He is not oblivious to sign of affection. As matter of fact, he already could tell that Rem now harbor feeling and in love, or at least have crush to him. The blue Oni can't be more obvious to show her affection to him from how she smile, how she holding her hand sometime, and how she always stick close to him. However, he never expects such thing from Anastasia Hashin. No, seriously. He never did. In canon it was clear that there is nothing about Anastasia that related to romantic in a way. As matter of fact, Aaron himself sure the girl has no interest with such thing, she could be a bisexual and he still won't be surprising given her personality. From their short conversation, Aaron can tell that Anastasia is woman who actually mean business. Despite her cheerful smile and everything else, she actually very serious deep inside. When talking with her, he feels like he chatting with a someone who wearing mask. Only this time the mask was the real facade for some reason. Truthfully, Aaron did not find anything strange with her, and oh screw that, he did found her to be strange alright. But it not in bad way. As matter of fact, Anastasia for some reason give a good vibe to him. She wearing mask, however that mask is not only normal mask, it was truth, but at same time also no, and she not even bother to deny the truth part. In a way she remind him of himself. Or was she? Perhaps. In some twisted way. No. What make him enjoy talking with her is how Anastasia is very similar to modern women, girl from his world. Her mindset, her style, and her way of thinking. That's why he found himself enjoy chatting with her. Though all of them is unrelated with his current predicament now. To be honest, he was confused why he feels so bothered in first place. So what if Anastasia now attracted to him? He can ignore her, not mean to be arrogant, but he actually has some pursuer in past and he didn't give a thought about them, thus making them back away. Modern man like him have different perspective. A girl like him. He is flattered, really, Anastasia quite look her as well after all, she beautiful and have right mental discipline to become success, but he not interested to her, so why should he care about it? Most men also would act like that, right? So why he feel quite disturbed by this? Maybe because now she will start hunting me for real. It was only for a business and job before, she need him so she can reach the throne. Now with her feeling this become personal, it was clear that she want to make him hers in any way. What make it chilling is that Anastasia have echidna with her, granted it's not the real echidna, it has no memories of her witch counterpart nor her power, but it's still echidna. The woman who managed to create Book of Wisdom, book that can show the future and any alternate version of it by reaching something that's similar like Root from type Moon. With memory or not. Echidna is still a woman who should never be underestimated, he genius is beyond anyone grasp after all. And like the Bible said, love is strong as death, and it flame rivaling flame of God. Yeah, that was pretty much why he disturbed, alright, nothing else matter. Not to mention their Rem as well. He grumbled, oh he didn't miss the look Rem give to him alright. He sure as hell that girl will be more aggressive in showing her affection to him from now, she won't let herself fall behind like that, and it made Aaron afraid how their relationship would be in future. Though in some way he would be lying if he said he didn't enjoy it, Rem is beautiful girl, so do Anastasia. That kiss before was not unpleasant, he is healthy male after all, so it just makes sense if he enjoy being kissed by pretty girl. Alright, that's enough hot water. He said aloud as he stand, seriously his head started to become a mess now. The party will be held in next few hours and he can't wait that long, he is hungry now. He better suit up and go find some food to eat to fill his stomach, even if only a bit. As he wrapped the towel around his waist and go out from the bathroom, thankfully a private one that connected to his current room, while drying his hair with another towel, he can't help but notice that the problem perhaps come from Excalibur itself. Whatever Anastasia see, it seems make her to be very interested to him. Perhaps she want him because she want Excalibur, in a way if she get him then she get Excalibur as well. He won't be surprised if it was the main reason though, seeing her greedy nature and all. Speaking about Excalibur, I wish I bring my book with me. He really could use some info about what happened, how Excalibur become that strong. And perhaps his book also would give some info since he practically already passed Arc 3 by now. He about to ruffle his wet hair using towel but paused when noticing there's something in his hand, something that obviously not there before, and much to his surprise it was his book. What the? He stared at the book in bemusement. Where the hell it come from and how could it be in here? He raised the book and observed the cover, checking it further and find it was indeed his book. Was it respond to his call? To test that theory, Aaron opened the bathroom and tossed the book to there, then close it. He closed his eyes, concentrate and imagining to have his book once again. And he feels something on top of his head. Picking it up, he recognized instantly it was the book. He opened the bathroom again and to see if the book he tossed was there, but only empty floor given to his sight. Well, that was not creepy at all. He murmured as he closed the door once again. He was tempted to think how could it be but decided to throw the idea out from his mind. Something is better left alone, right? Let's see what we got here. He said as he walked to the bed and sit in there, still in nothing but towel so he got dry faster from the wind in the room. He flipped the book open and go to the page of his data sheet. Hashtag data sheet, hashtag identity, Aaron Wilson / Pendragon alignment, true neutral class, saber height, 177 cm weight, 80 kg strength, B endurance, C plus agility, B plus mana, A plus luck, D N, phantasm, C, EX hashtag class skills hashtag magic resistance, A. The heart of dragon has finally awakened and thus this boost Aaron's mana reserve and so do her resistance to magic. Now his magic resistance able to cancel spells of A rank or below, no matter what high thaumaturgy it is. In practice, the servant is untouchable to modern magi, so it would not be an exaggeration to title the servant a Magus killer. However, if he is targeted by dragon-slaying sorceries, it is possible that magic resistance will not function to its fullest extent. Riding, B, all vehicles and all creatures but those of phantasmal beast and divine beast rank can be used as mounts. This rank is high enough to have aptitude for the rider class. Hashtag personal skills hashtag charisma, B, suitable for the king of a country or to command a country's army. Instinct, B, this person sharpens sixth sense is closer to reaching the realm of predicting the future. Through this ability, it is possible to have the penalties inflicted by visual and auditory interference. However, for Aaron Wilson / Pendragon this instinct is mainly only active in combat or in few cases when negotiating with people. Mana burst, A, increase attack power to the point where a normal weapon that is not on the level of a divine mystery can be destroyed in one solid blow. Raises defense several times over. Speed is increased to allow high-speed movement. Prana expenditure is very efficient, and Saber can maintain high-level performances even throughout prolonged battle. Beloved by spirits, A++, skill that attained in Re-Zero world, the rank has increased due to activation of Excalibur. As sword that represent every wishes of mankind and also forged by the planet itself, this sword is like a sacred symbol to them. As long as he wield Excalibur, it is not exaggeration to say that Aaron Wilson / Pendragon is the most beloved person by lesser spirits, and they will never harm him in any way. They will heal him by any chance if they have to. Unfortunately, due to lack of communication, Aaron Wilson / Pendragon can't use them to attack his enemy. However, if they got ordered to attack him, they will refuse and highly possible going to harm those who gave order them in first place. The greater spirits and true spirits who gain conscious and become fully sentient also would find Aaron Wilson / Pendragon to be likable and very reluctant to oppose him regardless his personality. Even those that mad also would regain their sanity for a moment after seeing him in person. The effect is diminished though to those who created or artificial due to the difference in their nature. Regardless, they also still find Aaron Wilson / Pendragon as a person who enjoyable to spend with and willing to get close to him. Hashtag noble phantasms hashtag Excalibur, the sword of promised victory type, anti-fortress / anti-city / anti-mountain. Rank, A+++, holy and sacred sword that can be said as crystallization of mankind's wishes, a sword that in literal sense make those who saw them remember of their glory, honor, dream and hope. Only few can look upon its beauty and remain unchanged. The strongest and most majestic of all holy swords, one can say it is the pinnacle of holy swords, a holy sword among holy swords. The light it released from the tip of the blade is so powerful and highly destructive, there are very few that exist capable to withstand the full blast of Excalibur and survive the rank. Originally A++, however, due to its nature as crystallization of the wishes of mankind, it attract and pull the lesser spirits onto it. Not ending in there, if they're true spirits that close, they also going to come and more than willing to lend Excalibur their power. Excalibur in a sense already contained power that can destroy anything, however it cannot deliver damage that would spread and damage land, save for where the area the beam struck, but due to the help of the spirits and mana that very rich in Re-Zero world, the sword convert not only the wielder power but the surrounding as well, thus increasing its destructive power and area. It was more than possible for Excalibur to destroy land itself if it focused properly, as matter of fact the beam that launched can be seen through the space invisible air, bounded field of the Wind King/Strike Air, Hammer of the Wind King type, anti-unit/anti-army. Rank, C# same as canon # return by death, blessing and curse of Sathela and the Witch of the Envy type, support. Rank, EX ability to return from death. To put it simply it acts like a game save file but the save point is decided by the curse in a random manner. Whenever Aaron Wilson/Pendragon dies he will return to the checkpoint that was designed. The nature of this curse has yet to be known entirely, however it makes him smell like a witch, attracting demonic beasts that are nearby. This curse and its nature also can't be spoken aloud, if it does then it means instant death for the victim or someone that is precious to him. However one might be able to use this curse to attract demonic beast, the reek will be intensified when spoken, and the smell also can be detected by those who worship the witches. It also can be used to repel possession since the body of the victim that is cursed have their soul connected to Sathela and the Witch of Envy directly. Thus the spirit that tries to possess the victim would be cast out by them. This curse also degrade luck by one parameter. Aaron Wilson/Pendragon's luck is supposed to be C, but due to this curse it became D. Right now there's nothing much known about this ability since it also quite complicated and its true nature also still mystery to everyone else, but in future more things will be revealed about return by death. Aaron blinked as he finished reading his status. Well, that's certainly quite informative. So his dragon heart finally awoken, huh? And now it make his magic resistance to it just like how it's supposed to be. And it also increase his mana reserve, turning it from A to A++, that was quite boost in his opinion. Not to mention his endurance and agility also increased as well. And the beloved by spirits turned to A++ too. Great gods, that was very shocking for him. From C turned to A++. That was major boost. And what with this description? Is that mean Spirit Contractor won't be able to face him anymore? Well that was beyond shocking to be honest. This is rather useful skill. Maybe I can use this to get close to Beatrice more easy. He thought with grin. Reading further he finally reached about Excalibur and this shocking him more. The sword rank rose by one parameter, from A++ to A+++, but not end in there now this sword potentially can bring down entire city and mountain as well. It become more powerful and its area reach also increased, no wonder he heard Felix complaining about blowing mountain and burning forest. Mountain is more sturdy than city but not bigger, now it combined together it practically become weapon that on par with nuke in area of destruction perhaps or even more. Okay that's it, no using Excalibur in city. Even if it open area. Unless it aimed toward the sky then he won't unleash Excalibur anymore, bloody hell, it become more dangerous than before. Though if you recall their limitation on Excalibur. When Saber finished Gilgamesh she used Excalibur again but the attack was weaker and more like anti-unit at that time. Then could he use that level of strength? He won't need nuclear all time, just weapon like that would be fine too. He flipped the page once more and blinked when found some note. #congratulations. You have survived through Arc 3. You managed to kill Betelgeuse without dying once and not end in there but you also Iexuka Rebea, Cthulhu himself. Or at least something that looked like him. Though you died once in the end because your stupidity and foolishness so it minus point in that regard okay? Here the reward you waiting for. Stamp on the below using your blood to receive your gift, #. Aaron feel his right eye twitched as he read the comment. From the annoying symbol of Excalibur to about stupidity and foolishness of him. To be honest he deserved that alright, it was his fault, his arrogance and ignorance that caused Cthulhu to manage to become that big in first place. He also caused the whole village to die, it was solely his fault, he let his guard down, and once again forget that the enemy, Keti, still exists out there. Just like what he did once when he went to forest with Ram. Only this time there no luck or miracle that saving him from his mistake. Entire village died. Turned into abomination and killing each other like bunch of lunatic. He feel himself choked on his own spit when he recalled the corpse of Petra and he clenched his fist, tears threatening to spill from his eyes. Gods. He was idiot wasn't he? No, he's still idiot until now. It doesn't matter even if it in past, the mistake was too big to be brushed just like that. Calm down Eren, don't go that road, don't go that road. He quickly control his emotion, forcing them to down and banish them all. He can grieve all his want later, he have quite time seeing Arc 3 has done after all, right now it better to finish this. He about to take the gift but blinked when noticed there's something plastered on the page, it was card. And Eren's eyes widened when he noticed the card contained very familiar symbol. Caster class card? He murmured with utter shock, his hand unconsciously touching the card. A bright light appeared forcing him to avert his gaze an instant, it lasted for few seconds and the blonde opened his eyes when there no brightness anymore, he blinked his eyes that seems dazed and looked to the book once again. Hashtag by destroying Prelatized spellbook, artifact of the servant of magecraft you managed to gain it power. Congratulations. Do you want to install caster class card? What heroic spirit you might get? That would be surprise of course. Please noted that you can't change back to your original class for 1 day when you install it for the first time. And after that there will be delay for about 1 hour before you can change between class hashtag. Holy shit. This is real. This is fucking real. He got class card. And it was caster class to boot. Which mean he will be able to use magic soon. Make no mistake he loves saber class, it was men's romance and dream to wield exca fucking Batisliber after all. And he won't deny that wearing armor and look like this is pretty cool. However can use magic is also cool in a way. Able to shoot fire and lightning from his hand, sounds very fantasy. He imagined himself clad in cool and elegant cape while floating in air, behind him were cloud of thunder that raging, then he call upon them and start blasting down entire land while cackled like a god while shouting, explosion, to the world with each blast. Whoa, okay stop right there. He cut his own imagination, seriously that was too wild for his taste. Granted it was cool but hey. No need to destroy or explode anything just to be cool. He don't want to be Megumin after all, seriously, that little cutie explosion maniac. Right so. Back to the current topic, while it was true he got class card but he can't help to wonder what servant he will get. It seems random or things like that. Hopefully he got Medea or Merlin or even better Solomon the king of magic himself. Or Emiya. He can summon as caster right? That would be awesome. Though as much as he want to find out now, it was obvious he won't install this card right now, more like he can't. What if the class card caused drastic change when it installed? He is in someone else's home and territory now, he don't want to share his secret to them so. It will be more better if he install the card when he goes back to Manor. And maybe the gift also would be better to take later. He thought, can't just popping something now aren't he? What if the gift was big enough? Granted it was small the last time but it better if he being cautious about it. He learned his lesson after all. He flipped the page once again, trying to find more note perhaps and he blinked in surprise when he found one. Hashtag data sheet hashtag, 13% complete, identity, Eren Wilson / Pendragon alignment, class, height, 177 centimeters, question mark. Weight, 80 kilograms, question mark. Strength, A+++, endurance, A+, agility, B, B-, mana, EX, luck, N, phantasm. Hashtag class skills hashtag magic resistance, EX, A asterisk asterisk H asterisk R asterisk asterisk high of T asterisk E, T, A, hashtag personal skills hashtag instinct, A. Mana burst, A+, hashtag due to incomplete data this class's skills and further information cannot be revealed and unknown. To complete it certain conditions should be finished. Please noted that the class and personal skills still not complete, those that displayed only able to appear because it shares similarity with Eren Wilson / Pendragon's original class, Saber, while few come out because it is the main information and managed to be gathered along with the status hashtag. What the hell is this? He asked aloud as he read the newest data. A completely new data sheet. The status themselves even stronger and better than his current one, and what with the one that marked. It was ridiculous beyond measure. Look at those data. He sure as hell he can pulverize part of city with single punch if he want to with that amount of strength. And the endurance. Look at those, with that big rank, he's certainly also sure he can tank barrage of nuclear bombs. How the hell this one appear? Incomplete data. What was it even mean? Conditions? What conditions should be accomplished to unlock this class? And what class even this servant? Why the noble phantasm and luck filled with question mark. and EX rank magic resistance. How could that be? The mana burst also increased to A+, and his instinct also raised to a just like Arthur Pendragon should be too. So many questions crossed in his mind as he glared at the new information with thoughtful and calculating gaze. He began to flip the book's page again, trying to find the answer, but alas, all of them is blank and hold no answer for him. He quirked his eyebrow and flipped back to the page of the data sheet. He noted that unlike his Saber's class page, there's no picture of him in there as well. Their table and space alright, but there's no image in there. It was simply filled with random scratches of ink, much to his frustration. Eren-sama. Eren feel himself freeze for a second when hear familiar voice. He raise his head and see certain maid standing in the entrance of the room. She appear to pushing trolley that filled with food. Rem? He blinked. Since when you were there? Just recently. Rem answered. The blue-haired Oni face was confusingly red for some reason. Rem was knocking on the door, but Eren-sama did not answer, so Rem decided to come in. Did you? Eren eyebrow quirked. Was he that engrossed to this book? Speaking about book, he snapped close the item. He will read more later perhaps. Right now his eyes focused to the food the girl carry, and he gulped. He really hungry now, and he barely able to keep his drool just by smelling the food. By the way, Eren-sama, Rem wished to talk with Eren-sama later. Rem said, make him snapped from his gaze. Talk. He asked, what you want to talk about? It's private matter, and Rem want to talk it when Amelia-sama present and we are alone. Wow, that sounds quite serious. She want to talk when Ram was there is enough to set slight alarm bell to his mind. It's nothing bad, Rem assure you. Rem said as if sensing his inner thought. It's just something that has been bothering Rem, but Rem already settle it and Rem want to set it to Eren-sama and everyone. Well, if you say so. Eren relented and give look to Rem but decide to not pry the matter. He will find out soon when he back after all. Rem smiled at him, obviously happy she managed to reassure him. Then her eyes fell to him and her face become red once again, her smile become wider. And Eren-sama, next time please don't look at Rem like you're going to devour her. Rem spoke in shy and happy voice, not like Rem going to refuse or not happy. If Eren-sama want to, feel free to stare at Rem like what Rem did to Eren-sama. What? Eren asked in confused voice, what she mean by that? It was at that time when he feel chill to his spine seeing Rem's affectionate gaze and red face to him. Eren realized he's still stark naked save for the towel that wrapped around his waist. The fact that he sit in bed with crossing legs is the only thing that save his junk from seen by Rem, and his face become more red when he aware of this. Eren yelled, more like squeaked in reality, as he pulled blanket of the bed and quickly cover his body. Thanks for the treat. Rem said with cheerful smile. Out. Out. He ordered in frantic while pointing to the door and hide beneath the blanket. Rem shall leave the food here then. She replied pleasantly before excusing herself go out from the room, leaving the embarrassed man alone. As she left she can heard Eren's moan of displeasure and embarrassment. This only served more amusement to the blushing Oni who let out perverted giggle that would make certain silver-haired one-eyed ninja and white-haired sage proud. As Rem expected, Eren-sama truly magnificent and great. Not like she never see his full body. Before the battle with Hakugi he was unconscious from his fight against the Archbishop and even fell sick. Of course it was her who take care of him and she admit to herself that she sneak a peek a bit when she washing his body. And maybe a little grope in here and there too, just to ensure his muscles stay healthy and he keep durable as always of course. There no hidden intent behind them. It was pure and genuine concern over his health. Anyone who disagree will meet Morningstar face to face. HAA. This day started to get more and more better. She breathed out happily. Granted it actually not that good seeing that. That wench kiss Eren-sama, and had it was Rem from few days ago the Oni might throwing Morningstar to her in anger but... Rem is no longer the same Rem, she has changed, she has make her resolve. And she won't let her emotion to cloud her mind, she is better than that, Eren-sama has said so in past after all, and she will do the best for him. Well enough of that, she have more foods to prepare for the party tonight, and she also saved some special dish for him. Better to get prepared and be done with it. Unbeknown to the Oni just when she leave and turn her back their phantom appear out of nowhere to the door where the pseudo-saber currently reside. Their form was humanoid but it too translucent and indistinguishable to make a guess what their gender is. The phantom touched the door briefly, they tilted their head a bit before slowly dispersing into nothing leaving the corridor empty once more. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.